Hello, welcome to TechWeb Dots. Today, I'm going to discuss why Azure Well-Architected Framework is important along with its pillars and principles. And in short, we call it for beginners, either you're a new solution architect or playing a project manager role in cloud migration. So this session will really help you to understand the whole ecosystem which is built around Well-Architected Framework. Okay, let's go ahead without wasting time. So let's go by definition first, what the official definition says about it. The Azure Web is a set of quality-driven tenants, architectural decision points, and review tools intended to help solution architects build a technical foundation for their workloads. So technical foundation means we are creating a baseline. On top of it we will create the whole solution. So that is a very important first point, and that's why this well architected framework is very important. And don't worry, we will discuss about all the decision points, reviews, and some examples to discuss these important points. So let's go one by one. Start with the well architected framework. Design workloads that achieve business value over time. This is the whole agenda when we start using Azure Well-Architected Framework. As a solution architects, you want to build reliable, secure, performant workload that maximize the value of investment in Azure infrastructure. Definitely, return of your investment should be higher. That's the point when we start investing on moving to Azure, right? So starting with the pillars and align your design choices with the principle, that's the second thing. So first comes the pillars that we start building, and then we apply the principle on it. Then we build a strong foundation for your workload based on technical design areas, what type of technical project we have that we wanted to move. And finally, we use review tools to assess your readiness in deploying to production. So don't worry, we will discuss about the tools. We will touch on each and every aspect, so you will have the very good idea when the whole well architected framework is around you. Okay, the very first point is cost optimization. So in this session I am especially focusing on the top three things with each pillars, so we'll focus on that. So for this cost optimization, the very first thing is right size resources, right? Continuously evaluate and adjust the size of your resources to match your workload requirements and avoid over provisioning. I mean, this is self-explanatory, right? If your resources are of right size, then your billing will be less. Cost management tools. Leverage Azure Cost Management and Azure Advisor to gain insight and recommendation for cost saving opportunities. Azure Advisor and Cost Management tool can give you a very good insight around it. Optimize uses. So implement policies to shut down or scale down resources during off peak hours to reduce the cost. So this is one of the strategy in most of the big organization when they are in the dev phase, or you can say some are in integration phase. So they use it. Definitely this is not for the production. So in cost optimization, three things: right size resources, cost management tools, and optimize uses. Okay, let's go next, which is security. Very important task, right? So very first thing when we talk about security is the security of our data. So implement as encryption for data at rest and in transit to maintain confidentiality and integrity, right? When we say data at rest, when it is already in the stored place. When say in transit, it means it is traveling between source to destination. Even at that point it should be fully encrypted. This is one point. Another one, access control. Use role-based access control and multi-factor authentication to restrict access to these sensitive resources. All the best practices guidelines are already available over the internet, but these are the very key points with each pillars that you should remember. Okay, the threat detection. Deploy advanced threat detection model and response mechanism to identify and mitigate potential security breaches. Yes, so these three things you should take care when we talk about security around well architected framework. The next one, reliability, another important pillar. And design for resilience means we ensure our workload can recover from failures and continue to function by implementing redundancy and failover strategies. When we say our strategies, it means We are making sure if our one of the infra is down because of XYZ reason, even because of flood, because of some other storm, then our other location is working perfectly fine and failover is happening, and there's no impact on our users, right? Monitoring and alert. Continuously monitoring your systems and set up alerts to detect and respond to issues promptly. This can be a second important point that you should take care. Another one, test reliability. Regularly test your disaster recovery and failover procedures to ensure they work as expected. So when we are saying regularly, right, this is a iterative process. It's not you just test it once and you just not testing it again. It should be regularly, we should work on this, or you can say regularly audit should be applied on this, right, especially on all pillars. Now we talk about operational excellence, right? So it start with embrace DevOps, because this is the opportunity. When we are using Azure Well-Architected Framework, it fosters a DevOps culture to streamline development and operations and ensuring faster and more reliable deployments, because at this point you can do some innovation that will help your future deployments. So that's the next point, which says automate processes. Use automation tools to reduce manual intervention, minimize errors, and improve efficiency. Because at this point, if you develop your DevOps strategy, your automation process, then definitely it will help you for all the future deployments. The last one, implement observability. Ensure comprehensive monitoring and logging to gain visibility into system performance and quickly diagnose the issue, right? If we can easily diagnose the issue, then that will be the very first point where we start solving the things, right? So these procedures should be implemented in operational excellence pillar. The next one, performance efficiency. Performance is the very important, right? When the overall things are done, then we came to the performance efficiency. It start with the scale dynamically. For example, your workload is getting higher because of more interaction on your portal, on your site, on your system, then dynamically scale is a very important point. Design your applications to scale horizontally to handle varying loads efficiently. When we say horizontally, it means we are replicating the same infra multiple times, right? If we talk about vertical, it means we are enhancing the same machine size, let's say increasing the RAM, increasing the uh, solid storage, those kind of things. That's called a vertical. And another one, when we replicate the whole system, it means we are going horizontal. We are creating more instances of our application so it can serve the traffic. Optimize resources. Continuously optimize compute, storage, and network resources to improve performance and reduce latency. Definitely, very first time when you will deploy, or you will, start using your infra, your base foundation, in one go, it's not possible you can achieve everything. So let the process evolve naturally, right? And you just follow the procedure, apply the best practices again and again, and that's how your whole procedure will get mature over the time. Conduct performance testing. Regularly test and benchmark your application to identify and address the performance bottlenecks. So time to time when you just test your application, so you will be having some idea our application is performing very good at this point of time, and which new deployment is making creating problem for you. So you can just test that, right? So that will help you to achieve the performance efficiency. Okay, so all these five pillars we have already discussed, right? If you see in this figure, we have discussed all Azure well-architected frameworks, right? But you can see there are more than these five pillars. What are those? So the five pillars of Azure WEF are reliability, cost optimization, operational excellence, performance efficiency, and security that we just discussed. And while each pillar is important, the pillars can be prioritized based on your specific workload. I especially highlighted this line, right? So you must be thinking which pillar we should start with first, right? It can be based on your specific workload, right? There is no specifically mentioned which should be at the first position. So it's up to you based on your workload. Definitely, if it's your banking, you will start with the data security, right? This is one of the example. Next point, build and manage high quality workloads using resources. Which resources we are talking about? Because pillars we discussed that align with Microsoft best practices, guided by these 5 pillars. So what we are talking about? So we are talking about the tools, programs and the guidance that we initially discussed in this lecture. So these are the one, and we will discuss each one by one, and I'm telling you, if we just go through by the word, by the heading, right, you will be came to know how useful these tools are that will help you to make your whole system apply with web. Okay, the first one, we start with the Azure Well-Architected Review. Okay, then what it says, the comprehensive assessment. Okay, the review assessment we can also call it. This is very important, and all these tools comes when you have already your baseline environment and you already deployed the things, because now we start reviewing, we start improving so that our whole infra get accurate or more mature. Okay, so the comprehensive assessment, what it says, the review helps identify gaps and areas for improvement in your architecture, because now we have the architecture, and ensuring alignment with the best practices. Okay, so we check after assessment our infrastructure is aligned to best practices or not. And wait for a moment, you will also get what you need to do, right? Actionable insight, you provide a specific recommendation to enhance reliability, security on the basis of all 5 pillars, right? What action we should take. And continuous improvement, encourage regular reviews to adapt to evolve business needs and technological advancement. So all these 3 key points that we should take care when we are talking about the Azure Well-Architected Review. And definitely it will be based upon all 5 pillars, either we have implemented those properly or not. And the next comes Azure Advisor. It is super powerful tool that will give you insight on your workload. So it shows personalized recommendations. So Azure Advisor analyzes your configuration and uses telemetry. Telemetry is nothing but it tracks all your application, how those are working, how you have implemented the telemetry in your application. That is also be considerable to provide tailored recommendation for optimizing your Azure resources. For example, as an engineer, you are working for your organization, or as an architect, you are working for your client, right? So by using this tool, you can get the recommendation from the advisor tool, and you can recommend to client, or you can implement yourself in the organization that can really improve your overall well-architected framework. Very powerful tool. The cost management, it also helps to identify opportunities to reduce cost by right sizing resources and eliminating waste. We also see this point in the cost pillar, right? Security enhancement, it also offers suggestions to improve the security posture of your workloads by addressing potential vulnerabilities. Even you are also checking by using your instinct, right? By using own best practices. But Azure Advisor also on top of it, it has all the industry best scenarios, and that will help you to advise what can go wrong in your architecture and you can improve. And the documentation, the golden source for all these things, for all the knowledge base, right? It's a comprehensive guide. So Azure Documentation provides detailed guides and best practices for designing, deploying and managing Azure solutions. Because over the internet you will get so many things, but I always recommend to go to the Azure Documentation. That will help you with the best details and with the best practices, up to date information. So it may happen you should continuously update to reflect the latest feature, services and best practices, because time to time they also update their documentation, and you can also update yours as well accordingly, so you have all the information up to date. Community contributions, so it also includes insights and contributions from the Azure community, enhancing the breadth and the depth of the available knowledge. Because it may happen, right, some technology developed, so that cannot be solid bulletproof technology. There may be some issues, maybe in the next version those issues will not be there. So that community will really help you. If you are facing any challenges, you just post your queries in the community, and I'm damn sure you got the answer from the community best peoples, right? So we have partners as well, those support and services offers provided by the Azure. Okay, so what it says, you will get the expert assistance, right? how Azure Partners also provide specialized expertise to help design, implement and optimize the Azure solutions, because the partners also implement the things for their different service, different industry based clients, right? So those use cases, those studies also help you to implement the best well architected framework. Support plans. Azure also provide various support plans are available to meet different business needs, ensuring you have access to the right level of assistance. So it completely based on you what plan you have chosen. And service offers. So Azure offers a range of services and tools to help you maximize the value of your cloud investments. We have seen many of them, right? So it is just the name of it. Architect Center. This is one of my favorite section, right? Because it contains a reference architecture. Maybe the workload on which you are working on, the similar architecture already exists publicly with the Azure Architecture Center. So it provides a collection of reference architectures and the best practices as well for building reliable, secure, scalable solution on Azure, right? Don't worry, I will show you one example, right? What that can be. Design patterns. It also offers design patterns and principles to address common architecture challenges, right? What challenges you can face if you are following some certain architecture. So you will get everything, right? Implementation guidance include detailed implementation guidance to help you to apply best practices in your own project. So this architecture center that give you a full handbook, full guide, right? So this is the example of .NET migration example where you can see we are applying this, migrating a monolith application to microservice using domain driven design, right? Previous design was very different. That says it's a UI layer, then you have an application layer or the business layer, then we have a data access layer which is accessing the database, and after you move it to microservice decoupled application architecture, then it will look like this, right? So don't worry about this. All important links are available in the description of this video. If you want that, I will keep it there, so don't worry about, no need to note anything. You will get everything in the description of this video. Okay, the last one, well architected recommendation process. So we have seen all the important tools and the best practices available over the with well-architected framework, right? In the well-architected recommendation process, first point is a structured approach. So you should follow the structured process to evaluate and improve your architecture based on the 5 pillars that we already know of WEF. Second is prioritize actions. So it really helps prioritize actions that will have the most significant impact on your workload performance and reliability. And the third one, iterative improvements. And we have seen the whole process, whole pillars, actions are iterative, whole tools process is iterative, right? So it's truly in agile manner, right? You can think like that. Iterative improvements means encourage iterative improvements to continuously enhance your architectures and your business and technology landscape as we evolve. So in this way we covered everything whatever I wanted to share with you. Let me know your feedback, how you feel about it, and if you have any question you can drop into the comment box. I will try to reply on that as soon as possible, and let me know what is the interesting topic out of this video on which you want me to create a next video, so I will elaborate in more detail. Till the time, bye bye, take care.